Welcome to the next video in our SARM series. Today we will dive into Rad 140, also known as Testalone. Just a quick recap, SARMs and testosterone tend to have similar effects because they work on the same receptor. The intended targets of SARMs include muscles and bones. So Rad 140 has positives and negatives, obviously. So let's talk about the positives first. Increasing muscle mass, increasing fat burning. Some studies actually suggest it may serve as a protectant for your brain cells. It can also be beneficial in certain breast cancers. So now let's talk about some negatives as well. So some negatives reported are the suppression of testosterone. It has shown to cause some hair loss, increased aggression. Long-term risks are pretty unknown still. The safety profile and full side effects are unknown. And the appropriate dosage hasn't been studied enough, so it's a little bit on the unknown side as well. But it has become popular in men with low test levels who want to avoid testosterone replacement therapy, or TRT, but are still looking to maintain their physical performance. Now, Rad 140 works by selectively stimulating androgen receptors in the body, and it targets the receptors in muscle and bone and has had little to no observed effects on the reproductive organs. So this compound stimulates muscle growth by promoting the development of muscle cells and proteins. Since our last video, we talked about Ostarine. Let's make a quick comparison between Ostarine and Testalone. Testalone and Ostarine differ when it comes to their effects on muscle and fat. According to some reports, Ostarine has milder muscle building effects, but has been shown to be better for fat loss than Rad 140. It's the usual choice for the cutting cycles or for those that want to gain modest but lean muscle mass with little to no side effects. So on the other side of the coin, many people report that Rad 140 is a little bit stronger of a SARM, and it provides better muscle growth and significant increases in strength, which makes it a more popular choice for a bulking cycle or somebody that wants to put on mass. Potential uses really of Rad 140. Obviously, increasing muscle mass is a huge one. Rad 140 is popular in the bodybuilding community because of that. I mean, it's significant muscle building effects, and then some researchers believe that it may increase muscle growth without the unwanted effects of conventional steroids. So it may not give you the results that you would get from steroids, but it may get you close. So something else is breast cancer. Researchers are currently investigating Rad 140 for potential against breast cancer. And how that works is, so a common form of breast cancer, is called androgen and estrogen receptor positive, ARER plus, or ARER positive, is sensitive to hormones. So medications that affect these receptors, like SARMs, may have cancer-fighting potential. In a cell study, so a study done on the cell functionality, Rad 140 actually stopped the growth of the ARER positive breast cancer because it blocked the effects of estrogen. Specifically, Rad 140 appears to suppress what's called the ESR1 gene. You can Google that if you want to learn more. This gene is responsible for creating estrogen receptors. Without the sufficient receptors, estrogen becomes inactive. One uncommon benefit of Rad 140 that has been studied are brain effects. So androgens play an important role in protecting the brain. They can increase brain cell growth, improve memory, decrease amyloid beta plaques, which are some of the main causes of Alzheimer's disease. In a study done on rats, Rad 140 protected brain nerves against injury from the amyloid beta plaques. So additionally, Rad 140 and testosterone were actually equally effective in that study in protecting against neurotoxins. It also showed activation of receptors in the injured regions of the brain, which help promote healing to that brain injury. So the rats given the Rad 140's MAPK, or mitogen activated protein kinases, activity increases, which is protecting neurons from damage. without diving in too much more in the scientific aspect. But another benefit of Rad 140 has been weight loss. And this is kind of interesting because a study done on monkeys looked at Rad 140's effect on muscle and fat. And although it increased the lean muscle mass, the effect on body fat was insignificant. But what they uncovered in that study was that Rad 140 actually improved their cholesterol levels. So additionally, a higher muscle mass can increase energy use and further promote fat loss, but these factors did not play into the lower body fat in the study. There's still a lot of limited research when it comes to Rad 140. So Rad 140 benefits really have yet to be explored in human studies. It's really only been tested in rats and monkeys from what I could really find on NCBI, PubMed, Google Scholar. And although it is a supplement used by athletes, the long-term benefits and risks of humans is really still on the unknown side. Side effects and risks. Our Rad 140 should cause fewer unwanted effects than testosterone use, but this has not been 100% proven. And Rad 140 still has the potential to cause testosterone-related side effects. So some side effects have been reported: breast tenderness and growth in men, abnormal body hair growth in men and women, changes in sex drive, not for the better all the time, male pattern baldness and hair loss is accelerated, mood swings, anxiety and depression, aggression are kind of the main ones, outside of testosterone suppression and estrogen effects as well. Some SARMs can actually suppress the body's natural testosterone production or the ability to produce testosterone, and it may raise blood estradiol, similar to other SARMs. But in theory, Rad 140 can potentially cause testosterone suppression and estrogen buildup. This can cause decreased sex drive. It can cause depression, tiredness, fatigue. So most users recommend doing a PCT or a post-cycle therapy. Clomid or Novadex to restore hormone levels are most commonly used. The degree of suppression or the estrogen effects really can vary quite a bit, and it depends on the person's sensitivity level. Some report high, some report low impact. Higher doses and the longer use of any substance can increase the unwanted effects as well. So how long you take it and your dose definitely weighs in on your side effects. There is really no set dose for Rad 140 because the data is limited, but bodybuilding sources usually recommend 10 to 30 milligrams a day in men, and then 5 to 10 milligrams a day for women, which is what most people recommend. But users, they cycle from 8 to 12 weeks. The off cycle varies. Some recommend they last as long as the cycle, while others think that shorter off cycle is enough, like 4 to 6 weeks. Rad 140 really appears to have good bioavailability as well, so your absorption rate's higher. According to that research study done in the monkeys, about 70% of the drug or the SARM is actually absorbed in the body when ingested. They also report that Rad 140 works really quick. Evident results can start as little as 3 weeks they can see. So you can stack this in order to increase results. Bodybuilders sometimes combine Rad 140 with other SARMs. They report stacking with Ostarine, ibutamorin, which is that growth hormone aspect. The combination with Ostarine is reported to actually improve recovery and fat loss. But for cutting and endurance gains, it's usually stacked with cardarine. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode of SARM Review Lab. Don't forget to hit subscribe to know when the next video goes up. We're still going to talk about my use of Ostarine and the company that I use. I'll give you my report on that. So please stay tuned. Thanks, guys. See you next time.